Welcome, everyone. It's just so hard to believe that we are actually in the middle of week 7. So, what I wanted to do is give you a little bit of hints on how to do Project 3. If you're struggling, it's not that big a deal. This should help you out. So, what we need to do is we need to read a file and then we need to create a histogram from it by reading it and putting it into a map. As you recall, a map is nothing more than a key and an item. So the key is just like an index, and then the item refers to the actual data in there. So this is the input file, and you can see there's a whole bunch of things in here. I believe there's 84. There is actually 104. That's good, and that makes sense, and you'll see why that makes sense in a little bit of time. So what I've done this time is a little bit something different. Instead of me going step by step and writing everything down and explaining it, I decided to write it all first and then go over what I did. So you can see it's really not as difficult as it sounds. So let's go to the actual file itself. And you can see that we have to add an extra item, which is a map. Now we need the F stream, of course, so that you can read the input file. So I've added a few extra things in here for error checking for myself. So the first thing I've done is created an input file from fstream, and then we need a string of an item to store data. So that's going to be the actual key itself. So then we need to create the map, which is consists of a string, which is the key, and then an integer, which is the amount that's in there, the amount of items in that particular grocery item. And for lack of a better name, I called it stuff. So I don't know why, but that's the first thing that came into my mind. And here is the input file that I put it into. I know that there's a different name, but I decided to do something a little bit different for demonstration purposes. So the first thing we do is open it, and then we check to see if it actually opens. So if we have input file fail, we can't do a thing. Now we could do a try, catch, and things like that. But in this particular case, if we can't open the input file, then there's no sense to proceeding. So I have a return 1. Now some people will put an exit. I'm not a big fan of exit. To me, exit is really a system issue where you have maybe a subscript out of bounds or something other than just not being able to find a file. But that's just my personal preference. I'm not really a big fan of it. It should only be used in extreme circumstances. So the first thing we need to do is start reading the file. And this is the way you keep reading till you get to the end of the file. And yes, there's other ways to do it for checking the end of file. But what's going to happen here, it's just going to keep reading it as long as it can keep reading it. As soon as it runs out of data, then the while loop exits. So what I'm doing here is I'm checking to see if the item already exists. And I find this is the easiest way. So if stuff.count obviously has to be greater than 0, then we need to add the 1 to the item that we have, and then we need to update it. Now, this is for me. I just want to put how many times we've updated an item in here. So if we have apples and it already has 1 in it, this will make it 2. But if it's not found, then this is an easy way to add an item. Just go stuff that in place item, and we want to put 1 in there. You could have just as easily done the stuff of item and just put it equals 1. But this is a simple way of doing it. Your preference is there. And then I decided to see how many items were added. Then down here, I'm just printing out how many items are added and how many items are updated. And then I just put a little count in here so I can see. Now, this is not part of the requirements, but these are things that I put in while I'm coding to make sure everything is peachy keen. So I'm going to run the program right now, and let's see if it actually works. So I've now created my little histogram. So now you can see why that 104 was important. We added 20 items and we updated 84, so that means 104 is right. So according to this, we should have 4 apples, 3 beets, 7 broccoli, 2 cantaloupe, and the things of that nature. So what I did was I put it in a Microsoft Word file to check it, and I sorted it, and then I grouped it. So let's go in here and let's spot check, say, peaches. So we'll go down to peaches. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks good. And let's try P's. P's is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go back to our file. So peaches is 5, and we did P's is 8. So it looks like our data is correct. So that's really all there is to it. So what you're going to be doing then is you're going to create the histogram. So you're going to ask the user if they want to input an item. So you're going to check to see if it's found. If it's found, then all you have to do is print out the item and how many are there, just like I've done here. And then you can do that through grocery stuff first or second. Remember, first is the actual key and second is the item. And then you can do the histogram based upon this. So you would print 4 stars here, 3 stars here, 7 stars there. So that is it for this video. I hope it helps you. Please always feel free. Leave comments in there. Like it if you like it. So let me know how these are. If there's a video that you want me to make that I have not made already, please let me know. So hope this project looks good, and I look forward to grading them.